Are you ready, my friends? Let's get started. So, here we are for some strength training today. We'll get warmed up. We'll start our warm up in a similar way that we did yesterday, but then we won't get into all the step touches and whatnot. So, I've got a mat prepared for later, my towel, and I've got some dumbbells on hand. And like I said, you're basically going to scrounge and use whatever you can at home. I mean, some of you now probably have pretty significant home gyms like we've been able to amass. Luckily, we had some stuff before COVID, but then, we've added to it. Okay, here we go. Let's take your right leg back first. Press and switch. Open up through your hips. Ooh, press and open. I think TJ's sick of being down in the basement with the workout. She's like, been there, done that. I'm staying upstairs. Reach and rotate. Ugh. Press your hips forward as you reach to the opposite corner of whatever space you're in. Then next time, if you want, reach overhead with both arms. So think of this nice long line through the front of your body. Alrighty. So luckily our Toronto Maple Leafs are still winning some games. They're giving us a little hope. Let's crouch forward, push and catch yourself, push and catch. So I want you to really feel like you're falling and then you stop yourself, okay? Now, I know because it's harder for me to see you when we're on Zoom like this, if there's an exercise that you need a choice for, another version, just pop your mic on, or certainly after the workout, you can ask me and then you'll know for next time, a replacement exercise. Lateral lunge. So this could be, so let's say your knees aren't quite ready or you want a lower range of motion, make this more of a hip shift. So it can be a small step versus a bigger one where you've got more movement through your knee. Let's reach. Reach. So we're going to do some balance training today, obviously all combined with strength. Then you can reach and rotate the other way. And we're going to focus on our powerhouse core. So although we're going to work our whole body, we're going to have an emphasis on the powerhouse of our core. Good. Turn this into a squat. So remember, it doesn't have to be big, right? You can just bend your knees a little, but really think of the movement from your hips. That's a really important movement pattern, the hip shift. Okay? Let's add this reach. So think about all three lower body main joints, ankles, knees, and hips moving here. Okay, my son's running around doing something. Open up. He must need something for his online school from the kitchen. I don't know what he's doing. Open up. Couple more. Now bring your right leg forward and around. We did this one yesterday, but it's a great opportunity to get our hips prepped for all the lower body work. And of course, you're gonna customize everything to suit your personal needs. So notice like I've got a staircase behind me that goes up to our kitchen because I'm down in the basement. So, when we're doing leg things, you could do walking up and down the stairs, like box step ups or something, right? You could recreate different movements based on what you have access to. Couple more. Okay, now last thing, right heel comes front. Push your hips back. Oh, actually, I'm going to do one more thing. My apologies after this. Push back. Notice my toes are up, but your knee can absolutely be bent. Then we're going to add our big scoop. Can you imagine if almost every house could have one of those glowing hearts, all the different apartment building windows? Now, tuck your chin in. Let's roll. Bend your knees generously, and then scoop and roll back up. You can go part way as well. So you can come part way and then support yourself with your hands on your legs. Doesn't matter. We're just doing some spinal rolls. Rise. Okay, one more time. So we are going to start with the squat. And the reason for that is it's nice to work our big muscles. It means first, it means we're going to make sure we're really nice and warm. Also, mentally, it's good to get these big ones out of the way. So, John, we talked about some choices for you yesterday if you want to walk your stairs or whatever. Another option is anytime we're doing something with a dumbbell or an external load, you can always go without. So, you could take one dumbbell up in the goblet position, which would work great with your laundry detergent. You could have a dumbbell in each hand or a dumbbell up on each shoulder, okay? So I'm gonna hold mine up in this goblet position. Feet are at least hip distance apart. Let's get a little turnout from our hips. So you'll see your toes, your feet go out on a slight angle. Now we move from our hips, pressing knees out wide. And again, that hip action, the hip hinging, is so important for healthy hips. Good. So I want you consciously pressing your knees out towards your pinky toes. And then every time you lift, I want you to squeeze your inner thighs together. Good. You ready? Speed this up. Drop and stand. Drop and stand. It's nice to have some cameras on. It's okay if you don't want yours on. It's just nice to see some bodies moving with me. Ugh. Keep going, keep going. 8 more. Then I'm going to play with the rhythm. Ugh. And the range. Good, 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 good. 4. Hopefully you feel warm now. I certainly do. Now, 3 little pulses. They can be down in the bottom, and then we stand, or they could be up in the top, depending how your legs, your hips, and your knees feel, right? I'll show you from the side so you can see how I drop. I'm staying in the bottom, or here's what it looks like if I stay in the top range of the movement. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. One more, one more. Beautiful. Now this next exercise is going to target our shoulders, but we're really going to focus on keeping our body still. So we're going to do a halo with feet planted. So feet hip distance, knees bent, and then I want you to keep your hips and shoulders really still instead of letting them move. Sometimes we move and wind up, but I want to focus on a strong, stable core. So I've got 1 dumbbell, okay? You could use your towel to circle as well. So it looks like this. Circle around, then go the other direction. Circle. Lots of shoulder strength and mobility. Now look, if you want more, lengthen your arms so your dumbbell is further from you. If you want less, pull it nice and close to your torso. And then keep your hips and shoulders squared up and solid towards your screen. If you're doing this with your towel, then it would look like this, nice and tight through your towel, and switch directions. So my hands are about shoulder distance, and I'm keeping tension on my towel. Okay, let's do 8 more. Pull. Can you pull your drawstring tight? So I don't have a drawstring on my leggings, but I'm pretending that I do. Or you could imagine like a seat belt or your belt. You just pulled it 1 notch tighter. Just a few more. Good, last one, last one. Excellent. Now, our third exercise in this sequence, we're gonna do a back row, a standing row. Okay, so you can have 2 dumbbells, or I'm gonna show you the version with the towel. Again, hands about shoulder distance, tight towel. It'll look like this when we pull, and you're really gonna pull your shoulder blades together. If you have 2 dumbbells, and honestly, if they're not the exact same weight, it doesn't really matter, you know, if you have 2 that are different. Wait, I'm gonna go a tiny bit heavier here. Let me go a little bit heavier on my dumbbells. Let me just get these set. Okay, so we're gonna do some bent over rows. You've got weights, you've got your towel, okay? Here we go, let's start slow. So we tip, pull, squeeze your shoulder blades together, come back to your knees, push through your feet and stand tall. Shift your hips back, nice long spine. So notice my dumbbells are close to my knees. right? They're really close. I'm literally sliding down my legs. If you've got the towel, your towel is going to graze your thighs. Are you ready to inject a little bit of speed? So down, pull. Imagine my finger is right between your shoulder blades on your spine. You're going to squeeze my finger every time you pull into this row. Whew. Pull and stand. Push through your feet, stand tall. Pull. 8 more. Now let me show you a lifeline. It can be done with the towel or your dumbbells. You could pull one arm at a time, so then you've got less reps, right? You decide. 4. Then we're all going to try a few alternating. So you just pull one side of the towel if that's what you're using. Keep your shoulders pulled back. Okay, ready? Let's all do right arm only. Stand and switch to the left. Dip and pull. Now switch to your left side. 4 more. Down, pull. Good. 2 more, 2 more. Last one, last one. We're going to ditch one of our dumbbells. Okay. Move on to the next sequence. If you need a sip of water, go for it. So, single leg deadlift. We're going to stand on our right leg. Left leg comes up. Again, you're going to have your towel and hold it tight and slide down towards your knees. Okay. Then I'm going to add a shift, basically like Judy's favorite move. Okay. So let's start. Just traditionally, slide your dumbbell straight down your leg. Notice when I show you from the side, my shoulders stay back. I'm gazing towards the floor. That way I have a nice long line from my head all the way to my heel. Your toes can touch ground at any point. Okay, even if you don't want to touch your toes, you can stay in a more upright position. Okay, so now shift if you want. Tip, shift. Judy, if you want to rotate around your leg, you can. Otherwise, hold, shift your dumbbell to the side. Maybe toes come on the ground. Can you shift your dumbbell, keeping your shoulders and hips pointing to the ground? So we're avoiding rotation. That's where your core kicks in more to keep you from rotating. Ugh. We have 4 more in total. Hold, move, and stand. 2 to go. Good, last one, last one. Excellent. Okay, next exercise. We're gonna bend our arms to a 90-degree angle. So elbow is underneath your shoulder, shoulders pull back, your ribs pull in. So you're gonna move, but instead of your hips, your rib cage is gonna twist and pivot and swivel. So then try not to see my shoulders like this. You're gonna keep them pulled back. And your arms are in an isometric bicep curl. So biceps contracted, twist. So I think of the spinner in an upright washing machine, right? It's a very vertical movement. My hips are staying forward. So bend your knees a little to find more strength and stability. Okay, keep your shoulders pulled back. Armpits are tucked right in. So it's just your waist that swivels. Remember I said core focus. Bum, 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 bum. Woo, come on. I'm getting a little breathy from this one. Praise you. Okay, we're almost done. 8, 4, 3, 2, good. Find your mat, or if you have a carpet to lie down on, maybe you don't have a mat, you don't need it, or maybe you have a towel instead. So we're going to do a dead bug lying on our back, and I'm going to give you a couple of choices. You could use your towel, so knees are over hips. You're going to have your wrists over your shoulders. So your towel can go back, pulling tight. You can hold it here. Or if you want, one dumbbell in each hand. I'm going to hold one like this, okay? So let's start by tapping one heel and then the other. Bringing your knee back over your hips. Touch. Now you're pressing your shoulder blades into the mat and your butt, right? But the lower back curve remains, ribs pressed down, head stays down. Here's your add-on if you want. Both arms can come back, or if you've got one dumbbell in each hand, you can opposite arm and leg, which takes a whole lot of brain training. I've got to praise you. Now, if you want more, you can lengthen your leg. Instead of dropping your heel, think of pressing your heel out. Now, of course, you don't have to move your arms. You could also get rid of your dumbbell or the towel, right? You're trying to keep pressing your ribs towards the floor, and you're going to find the range of motion that works for you. So maybe yours is different than mine, as long as you can keep your ribs down away from the ceiling. We have 8 more. Ugh. 4 more. Keep pressing your shoulder blades into the mat, into the floor, I should say. You might not have a mat. Last 2. Lucky last one here. Good. Stay on the ground. I'm just going to come up so I can switch my dumbbell because I need my 10-pounder. I got to switch it for this next exercise because I have to like physically switch the dumbbell. Okay, so come up to a seated position. We're going to set up our V-sit. Find your sitting bones. So quite literally, grab your glutes, all that good stuff, so you can feel the bones in your bum anchored. As soon as you let your pelvic position go and you feel your butt cheeks on the ground, that means you've lost your spinal alignment. So I want you to feel the bum bones. Dig your heels in, pull your ribs in, okay? Then you're only going to lean back as far as you can keep that position. Once this starts to happen, I want you to kind of reel it back. All right. So we've set up the inclined position. Then you've got one dumbbell, and you might not want your heaviest one. I can tell you I don't need that. Okay, so dumbbells in front of my chest, and I'm going to open, then close this and go the other way. So it's essentially an incline chest fly. I'm having such a deja vu. But I know I haven't taught a strength class for a few weeks. Okay, we don't need to do many of these to make it count. Open. Try to keep it right over your chest instead of coming up over your head. How about 4 more? Shoulders, chest, and core. 2 to go. Last one, last one. Oh, good, okay. Let me just see where, oh, come up, come up. Oh. So I'm gonna switch to my heavier dumbbell. Our next exercise, how much time do we have? Oh, I'm gonna skip that one and put in a different one. Let's go to our lateral lunge. I've done this with you many times. And you know I love this exercise. It's going to have a shift similar to our single leg deadlift. So let's start like this. 10 toes forward, the lateral lunge like we did in the warm up. So if you want, it can still be a bit more of a hip shift. So you're really pushing into your left hip and then the right. So your knee doesn't have to bend that much. If you want, move your dumbbell away from you. Okay, but notice my shoulders and my hips stay forward. Sorry, I'm like under like a halo of glow under one of the pot lights. Now take a look in the middle if you want. Shift. And then my elbows lead from wall to wall. Elbows lead. Voulez-vous? Oh, nothing like a little ABBA to make a morning great. Did any of you lose your power yesterday? I know there was some threat of the big windstorms causing power outages. We did not, although my son was hoping we would because he was in online school. Reach and lift. 4 more. Reach and lift. Woo. 2 to go. Last one, last one. Good. Okay. I think we have time for one more exercise. Actually, we have time for maybe 2 more exercises. So this next one, we're going to use some momentum. I got to make sure I'm not going to hit this ceiling. No, good thing I'm not any taller, or I would. So feet are wider. You'll lift your left heel to pivot and push through your hip. Then your dumbbell comes up overhead. Pull your shoulders back in lower. Let me show you if you don't want to go overhead or you're going to hit the ceiling like anyone else would in my basement. Circle to here, and then you can either straighten your arms for a reverse front raise or do a reverse bicep curl, okay? So I'm going to wait for the musical phrase to start. So find your positioning wide enough that you have room to pivot and use your hips to push. 4, 3, you ready? Half circle, think circle, stick, then lower. Other side. Circle, stick. I'm going to show you the other version. Circle, stick, lower. Circle, stick, lower. Circle, stick, lower. Circle, stick, lower. Lower. Circle, stick. Let me show you from the side. Circle, stick. Core is your braking mechanism, right? Because you've got some momentum, and then you stop and you get solid. Circle, stick, and lower. Good. 4 more. Lower. Circle, stick. Last one. Circle, stick. Okay, let me check our time because I want to make sure we have time to stretch. Good, we've got 5 minutes left. So I'm going to do one more exercise with you. Whew, actually, maybe 2 more. We'll do quick. So we've got one more leg thing here. So again, John, we're going to do some lunging. So if you want to go to your stairs, walk up, up, down, down, something like that. Okay, so feet hip distance. You're either going to step back in a reverse lunge, or you can do a crossover, stay right leg going back, because I'm going to build something. Notice how my hips stay forward. So I promised you we'd build in more balanced training, because that's great for us. So there's your choice. So you can come all the way back, foot flat. You can come all the way back and touch toes. Or you can lift a little or a lot. Good. 4 more, then we'll switch legs. Last one, just step in and switch. Left leg goes back. Find what works for you. Remember, straight back in a reverse lunge, you can still have the knee lift or the toe tap. Both will work. Bum, 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 bum. So close. I'm not cold anymore. So on a cold day like today, the only things that get me truly warm are exercise and a hot shower. But this is more bang for my buck. One more. I'm warm from my head to my toes. Good. Tuck your dumbbells out of the way. Find your mat for one final exercise. And then we can have a few minutes to stretch. I'm going to move my towel out of the way. Okay. So, oh, Judy, we did this one before the holiday. So I want you to watch how my feet move. They're not going one at a time. They're both walking because that makes this tougher. It's a bridge. So start in your traditional bridge, ankles under your knees, hips lift up. Now, if you want to do one at a time, you can. If you want to try this, look, I walk right, left, and then they walk in. So they're both walking like you're just out for a walk outside, then walk in. So my hips stay elevated the whole time. Right, left, I've got this long position, getting my hamstrings and glutes. Guess what? That's part of your core. Low back working hard as well. Try to keep your hip bones elevated. Walk left, right, left. Now walk in. How big are your steps? I don't know. It doesn't matter. What works for you? Walk in. Okay, one more time. Walk out. Now walk in. Oh, I don't know about you, but I felt that all through here. Hug your knees into your chest. We'll do a nice stretch similar to what we did yesterday. Oh, sorry. I said I wasn't going to keep it. You know what? We didn't start right at the workout until a few minutes in. So I'll do a quick stretch with you. And I know some of you are probably going to do Pilates with Adrian tomorrow. That's a great way to work on some mobility. Let me come this way so you can see a bit more. Let your knees drop to the right side, stacking your hips and knees rather, and then take your left shoulder and try to open to the ceiling. You might even shift your gaze to the right or the left. Oh my goodness, I'm all messed up now because I'm breathing hard. So that bridge move is hard. Swing your legs around the other way. So try to stack your knees and hips and then open. It's amazing how much, really when my body's warm, when I try to do this before the workout, my range of motion is way smaller. So it shows, just having that heat through your body just releases. Plus, we've been moving, so the fluid is flowing through our body. Okay, let me come back this way. Bring your right leg up. Hips stay down, head stays down. Let me show you actually a bit this way. I want you to grab the inside of your leg. It doesn't matter where. Maybe you're on your calf, maybe you're closer to your knee, and just pull across the midline of your body, keeping your butt down. So if you start to lift and rotate, I want you to come back a little so you feel it through here. This is one of my son's, one of his favorite songs. Then switch. So open wide, so you're in this straddle, and you can let the other leg come out wide. Now, I could show you this because we're home. So if you find it really hard to get into these straddle positions, tuck your tush up to a wall, and then the wall can support you. You can do both legs. And you can completely relax into it, but it's a great way to help work on stretching out through your inner thighs. And a lot of tension in your inner thighs can be quite hard on your knees. Okay, let's switch legs. Sorry, I'm moving all over. So left leg comes up. Of course, this leg can be bent, so your shoulders and head and hips stay down. Come across the center line of your body. So if I was facing you, see how instead of straight, I come out like this. You come over, good time to start supporting the local restaurants. We're back to, well, we were getting more takeout because life was busy again. Open up, go find a wall, getting to hockey, but now I'm home, so more cooking. But we'll still probably do once a week takeout so we can support some of the local restaurants. Now, rock yourself up into a seated position and bring one leg back. You're going to push your hip forward and either grab onto your pant leg, your foot, wrap your towel around your ankle so you can push your hip forward to stretch through your quad and your hip. Till it hurts. Any of you remember Air Supply? This was a big favorite in our house growing up. My sister and I, she likes to sing as well. You probably noticed when I teach that I don't even realize half the switch sides half the time that I kind of blurt out some of the words. So there was a lot of Air Supply and ABBA growing up in our house singing. Then the stage we went through where we were singing the Annie soundtrack, my brother was not thrilled with that stage. He's older. Sit comfortably. Maybe that's in a star position. Maybe you're cross-legged. Take a big breath. Exhale. Roll your shoulders. And then use what we've learned if you need to get up right away, like you cross and lift. And I'm going to come and check in. I took the picture for famous. Sorry, I kept you a few extra minutes, so my apologies.